closing in on the playoffs. The week after next, I believe, is when they start, as there's 5 weeks of the normal season. So any team right now could greatly benefit from those points to make sure that they get a slightly easier matchup in the upcoming playoff series. So Dumpster Divers have first pick and have chosen to play on Radiant this game. Banning out the Batrider, I find that rather interesting, as it's been largely ignored in the 82L. Although perhaps recently teams have been deciding, pull out all the stops and they bring it out. And the same can be said for the Earth Spirit, another hero that typically doesn't see play here in the 82L. And I apologize for my mic cutting out in-game. It seems there are some issues with that, but two heroes who have been seeing a lot of play in the MGL and a third hero, who is the same story, have been banned out. Invoker's still available, and perhaps Dumpster Divers want to keep it in so that they can grab it for themselves. So they do have the first pick, but 4 cores banned it out in the end, although there's still the Outworld Devourer, another hero that they could go for. But if we're going for these high-skill heroes, I could easily foresee a Chen or an Oracle being picked up. Both of those heroes very, very strong right now, and perhaps Dumpster Divers will go for that, or maybe a Slardar, a Witch Doctor, Dazzle. Those are pretty high-value heroes in the 82L, and Gyrocopter is still in the pool. So we'll have to see what they want. I mean, being first pick, this is the benefit of it. There's pretty much anything you can do with this right now. So maybe they go for a strong mid-hero like Outworld, want to make sure they secure that. But they're going to actually go with a very strong offlaner and pick up the Darkseer, this hero, extremely popular and successful. Speaking of popular and successful, Lone Druid. So both teams have very strong openers so far, and 4 cores could grab the Vengeful Spirit, a very powerful support to go with this Lone Druid. So 4 cores, a mighty opener, and Dumpster Divers going to have to come up with some way to respond to that, because currently the lineup of 4 cores is looking very strong just in those first 2 picks. I think Outworld would be good. I mean, you have the Vacuum into Eclipse, Sanity's Eclipse, that is. But there's still Oracle if they want to get a strong support. They could go Gyrocopter. There's a lot there for them still, but it's going to be hard to contest that the opening picks from 4 cores. Dumpster Divers digging a little bit into the reserve time, and I think it should, in my opinion, it should be the... Well, that's not what I was thinking. I was going to say Outworld or the Gyro, or Oracle even, but they go for the Bane. This hero very strong and actually pretty adept at dealing with the bear. Toss Nightmare up on it, and things are looking pretty good there, so
10 seconds remaining.
We'll have to see. Gyrocopter banned out by Dumpster Divers. No real surprise there. So I'm wondering if 4 cores are going to play off-lane Lone Druid, which I think is the most popular way to play it. Although Team Empire once played it mid, and I have seen it go safe lane a couple times. And I know, viewers will cringe upon the mention of Iron Talon jungle, but it is still a possibility.
5 seconds remaining.
So 4 cores. Trying to figure out what they want to ban next. Maybe they take out that other strong mid-hero like Outworld, although they do have first pick in this next phase, so maybe they keep that for themselves. Puck has seen a slight increase in popularity here in the 82L. Ember Spirit is a hero that gets banned out fairly frequently, and the 82L teams here seem to really heavily value the Silencer, which I think is a bit of a mistake, but something that could be considered in Tusk. Another extremely popular hero taken out. An extremely aggressive support could really apply the pressure to this Lone Druid and prevent him from coming online when he really wants to. So probably a very good ban, a good defensive ban from 4 cores, who I think will want to play the farming game for the first few minutes until their Lone Druid finds the levels and some items to get aggressive. Dumpster Divers, there's still Outworld to ban. Oracle, it's a good defensive support. And they're going to ban out the Rubik. It's very easy for Rubik to steal Feed Script, so I think that's a safe ban. Not to mention, if Rubik steals something like Surge or even Wall of Replica is a possibility, it could be pretty devastating. So 4 cores, maybe they want to keep that OD in there, maybe they grab it for themselves. Perhaps ban it out or just ignore it, but they're going to ban out Faceless Void. I think that's a little interesting because the offlaner for Dumpster Divers has been picked, and Void has pretty much fallen off the face of the earth, as a carry. So 4 cores, there's still OD and Oracle there for them if they want the hero. Neither team has picked up its mid yet, and the mid hero pool has been cut down pretty heavily in these bans. We've occasionally seen the mid Earth Spirit or Invoker. Batrider has been played mid, but is typically an offlane hero. But with the Vengeful Spirit, even if it was still available, good counters there for 4 cores. I think I would actually still really like to just see the banish, the OD. I mean, that banish, the 4-second banish is just so effective. For either team right now, OD would be very, very good. On Dumpster Divers, you lock down the bear for 4 seconds. On 4 cores, you can just defensively banish up. You can banish the Bane. So, still quite a bit open there for these teams, and Oracle still there. Perhaps as a carry they could go Morphling. If this is actually an offlane Lone Druid, Morphling has risen a bit in popularity, but there is a Slardar, so a lot of minus armor from 4 cores, and with the Lone Druid Bear, they might even look to Roche very, very early into the game. So something Dumpster Divers are going to have to be conscious about is that extreme possibility that 4 cores are going to find a very fast, very early Roche once the Slardar hits his level 6. Dumpster Divers, there's still the Outworld there for them.
10 seconds
Maybe,
remaining.
I just think it's just a good hero, and I know I'm kind of going on and on about the Outworld, but I do like it. But I actually think they should pick up the Oracle. They can purge off the Slardar's amp damage. You've got the magic immunity to the disarm for the bear is huge. So I think the Oracle would be an awesome pick, but they're going to go an aggressive hero like the Spirit Breaker, and this is going to be their other support, as they already have the Darkseer for the offlane. So fairly aggressive. The mid lane of 4 cores is going to have to be very careful. There's a lot of kill potential. The Bane to Nightmare into a charge, and who knows what Dumpster Divers are going to go for their own mid. But 4 cores, now their turn to pick. I'm going to say it again, Outworld would be very good, but if they want to carry, I would like to see Morphling. With the Lone Druid and the Morph, they can apply massive amounts of pressure on the map. And there is then again, there is the Spirit Breaker, so it might not be the best choice. It's going to be hard. Dumpster Divers have a good way to deal with kind of split pressure.
Reserve time.
So we'll have to see what they prioritize, or if either team even finds the Void as a good hero. And if 4 cores want to keep with minus armor, they could go for a Dazzle too. The Grave would be good. You can cast it on the bear, so... And Dazzle, a very popular hero in the 82L. So we'll have to... That's something that they consider. And Shaker, actually, very good at canceling the Bane ult. Very good at stopping Spirit Breaker charges. And you can zone out the enemy team. So I actually do like this pick. 4 cores have a really strong team fighting and really good just pick-off potential kind of lineup. So this is actually... Okay, safe lane Lone Druid. Venge. Shaker supports off-lane Slardar, so... Dumpster Diver, so they have their supports, their off lane, and their carry. So I think Dumpster Divers is not quite sure what they're going to be looking for. They're not going to go the Oracle. They don't need another support. They could get the Morphling themselves. I think that would be pretty annoying for 4 cores to deal with. They do have a lot of lockdown, but Morphling is very different from Ember Spirit. He's very tanky, is able to survive this burst and just jump away with a replicate. So there isn't that much long duration crowd control on 4 cores. They'll probably have to dedicate 3 heroes or an Echo Slam in order to bring down a Morphling who's just splitting up the map. I think Ember Spirit is a possibility, but it's a little bit greedier. The hero's pretty squishy and has kind of a hard time dealing with pressure, and 4 cores have the heroes to apply that pressure to him. So those are 2 options for Dumpster Divers, but they may just go completely off that, what I'm saying, and make me look like an idiot. Queen of Pain is there for mid if they want it, and they're actually going to grab a Wraith King as their carry. I don't know how I feel about that, just because there's a lot of control for him, and it's going to be kind of a hard game to play as a carry Wraith King. That's just what it feels like to me. It's going to be pretty hard. And I mean, maybe 4 cores have already picked their mid and are going to run the Lone Druid, but
5 seconds remaining.
So we'll have to see really what they're going to prioritize here. Are they going to... OD still in the pool, something that could very well be banned out. There's still... Morphling could be banned out. Chen, if either team really wants it. But I don't think... I mean, neither team is going to go for the Chen anymore. There's no point to banning that hero out. Unless this is a carry Vengeful Spirit, but that's greedy, and they're going to ban out the Viper, so a good hero for deathballing that goes for a mech. So it could be something for that they're worried about, that they just don't want to deal with. So far, both drafts looking very, very strong. 4 cores posturing very aggressively, but the Spirit Breaker pick just screams, aggression too. And Animage going to be the final ban, and just it's a kind of a slippery hero, but so maybe they just don't want to deal with it. And I think that's pretty wise. So 4 cores looking for their mid hero. OD Shadow Fiend is a possibility, though he has fallen off. Razor is something that we could see. So that they're actually going to go the TA, and there isn't that much burst here, although the Ion Shell will tear through that refraction. So this pick, I don't know about it. If it works, then 4 cores have just, they're pulling off a minus armor. Let's kill Roshan at minute 9 and just snowball off of our Rosh advantage with the Rosh gold, get an objective after Rosh, and it's just maybe that's what they want, but again, I feel like it's very greedy, very dangerous to pick up, but Storm Spirit, actually a hero I did not expect to see, and 4 cores do not have that much lockdown to deal with it, so going to be pretty rough for them to deal with the Storm. If he gets ahead, though, he has faced a lengthy list of nerfs in recent patches, so this could be a problem, and we'll see. Although, nerfs don't matter if you execute your hero very properly and if you have the proper team to back you up, and this could be the game where Storm Spirit shines. Although, then again, TA pretty tanky. It's going to be hard to find solo pickoffs on anyone other than the Venge. Especially since Lone Druid now has Savage Roar, can just fear him off and maybe even just TP to safety. So, anyways, I apologize for my Steam going off. I'm going to have to, for future reference, I will turn off my, and not right now as we are loading in, but I will turn off Steam notifications, so on the Dire, it's 4 cores in 7 years. My Dota might have actually just disconnected me from the game, and if that happens, I do apologize. But 4 cores playing on the Dire. There is Dribber. I'm just going to call him Dribber, but it's Dribber Milo playing the Earthshaker. Oath Flaker on Lone Druid. Darny playing the Vengeful Spirit. Manzel on the Slardar, and Bottomfeeder playing the Templar Assassin. So, and then on the side of Dumpster Divers, there's Forgotten on Storm Spirit. Raiden on their Wraith King. 2 Point playing the Darkseer, Neat and playing up the Bane, and last but not least, Skas playing the Spirit Breaker. It is possible that DD are going to try a tri-lane. I think this would actually be pretty scary to lane up against. You have the Spirit Breaker and Bane who can roam a lot, give Wraith King a lot of solo space, but at the same time, there would be a lot of potential to get kills in that lane. I mean, it's probably an off-lane Slardar, and he has Sprint, but you just Nightmare him, Hellfire Blast, and then charge him, and that's a lot of control. And while sprinted, he does take increased damage, so Slardar could be in danger here. And it looks like there may be another tri-lane coming out from 4 cores as well. And I actually would love to see them do a tri-lane, not even with the Lone Druid. Probably leave the Lone Druid solo, get him levels, get him XP. He really needs the max Bear and the max Rabid. But you could run a tri-lane with like your Slardar for a bit, or at least rotate to your Slardar's lane. You pressure against the enemy tri if they do run a tri, or even the enemy's dual lane. Shut down their carry, and there's lots of kill potential with a Magic Missile, Fissure, Slithering Crush. So lots of aggression just from both teams. They did spot out this ward, but no sentries of their own to de-ward. So this is going to be a slight vision advantage in favor of the Storm Spirit, and he's definitely going to need it. This lane is going to be hard for him. I believe both mid players did grab the bounty rune, so it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Storm Spirit going to get his bottle a little bit sooner than the Templar Assassin, assuming he gets a couple last hits. And the other thing is, if TA loses her lane, it's not that bad for 4 cores, because Storm Spirit can't flash farm stacks nearly as easily anymore, whereas the Templar Assassin can just farm stacks with refraction. She farms with physical damage. The nerf to magical damage is really serious for a hero like Storm Spirit, and it's why we've seen him and Shadow Fiend just vanish off the face of the earth in competitive. And Darny gets bashed up first hit. This looks pretty bad, but able to walk away. There's no follow-up, and they're going to be doing a dual lane top. Ion Shell on a charging Spirit Breaker is definitely something to be afraid of, so I have to think. So 4 cores going to have to play around that, and bot lane, another dual lane. Not as much kill potential here, although it's extremely difficult to trade up against the Bane, because you know he's just going to brain sap you and get back to full. So I feel like it's much more important for 4 cores to do well in their lanes. their draft is pretty greedy. They want a Blink on the Shaker. The Lone Druid's probably going to try to go Irradiance. TA really wants to have a good start, although she can come back a lot better than like the Slardar or the Shaker, for example. And she is doing pretty well in mid with last. It's actually seriously outlasting Forgotten on his Storm Spirit. So Bottom Feeder getting plenty out of his lane right now. Has his bottle brought, but does not have enough slots, and then eats one of his shared tangos to fill it. So Vengeful Spirit with a Sentry Ward, and now making stacks. This is going to be huge for them. The TA will be able to farm these up very, very nicely. And that could give them the boost she needs, and they could just snowball to victory from there. Forgotten grabs the Bounty Rune at top lane, double damage at bot, going on to the Bane. I doubt a kill will come out, as Slaughter does a sprint and is a pretty tanky hero, but going to be a lot of harassment coming out. Darkseer out of mana, closing in on his Soul Ring, will be able to farm its Ion Shell just fine. And this stack getting ready to pull once the creeps are not so pushed in. Lone Druid also farming decently. Wraith King, also good farm. So the cores, the safe lane for both teams is finding decent farm. Although the mid for drunk dumpster divers, I almost said drunk drivers, is having a little bit of a hard time against this TA. So this is pretty bad. I feel like the Storm needs to win this lane, needs to at least get good CS, because the nerfs made it a lot harder for him to just roll in on you. He has to get items now. And if he has a bad start like this, it's going to be hard to do. Fortunately, his team does have a lot of kill potential, so he could just be involved in a couple kills, and though he farms stacks slower, he can still farm stacks. So he could come back, but he does, I feel like, need to be doing better than this, and we'll check back there in a couple minutes and see how things are progressing. Spiritbreaker sitting in the back, maybe trying to find a kill on this TA. They have... And this ward was dewarded, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to kill this TA with the lack of vision. Courier flying out, bringing just a sentry and a ward and a smoke to the Vengeful Spirit. So far, lane's pretty even, I would say, across the map. Though Storm is a little bit behind. Their Wraith King is farming pretty nicely. I think he needs to go like the Blink Blade Mail type of build. Just for the sake of getting in on these fights, because I think he could get kited by like the Earthshaker, or not even kited, but just zoned out by the Earthshaker, and then it becomes kind of hard. And there's a charge now on Manzel, and this could be bad. Wraith King getting in position, they have vision, the charge is going to connect, and Sprint will be wearing off fairly soon, although he's very close to his tower. Will be able to get the Wraith Fire Blast, and no, he's going to be able to walk away, but did get to zone him off. But at the same time, at top lane, 2 Point in serious trouble, gets blocked up by the creeps, and will go down to the Vengeful Spirit, and just very well played from them. They got a kill, and now need to be a little bit careful. The bear eating damage from the... I think if the bear dies, then the Lone Druid will die. Not quite. But well played from them. They're getting the Lone Druid getting a very good, very safe start. Darkseer kind of having a rough time. Is to be expected against a lane like this. The supports of 4 cores playing pretty well, making sure to zone out this Darkseer. Their Lone Druid is actually ahead, and Vengeful Spirit, Darnie just stacking camp after camp. There's going to be so much gold on the map for them, and this TA might look to start farming it soon. She's 12 CS ahead of the Storm Spirit, and almost a full level. So the mid lane not looking very good, and I think DD should look to pressure this TA. They do have the heroes to do a Bane and a Spiritbreaker, and I apologize that was my Steam, but so this mid lane, Vengeful Spirit smoked up, standing in the back. Storm does not have his ult, but now just gets it, so finding a kill on him will be that much harder, although the burst damage could be too much. But Darnie just trying to find something and not quite able to get away. Could he be in trouble? But no, going to zip away to safety just at the very end, and Bottom Feeder taking up a lot of tower shots, so Storm Spirit thankfully finding his ult just before that gank happened and able to get away. Slardar going to go for the spot rune. There's a Bounty Rune at bot and a Haste Rune at top. Vengeful Spirit might look to just grab it and go back mid. She has an Enchanted Mango, but they're going to give it to the TA instead. So things looking pretty good, I would say, for 4 cores. I think DD needs their Storm Spirit to get off to a better start than this. And he's having a very difficult time. So 2 Point just going to run off here, but Lone Druid has some good farm, and he's going to have the power treads on his bear soon. Needs to be careful with this Ion Shell, and that's the strength of the Darkseer. Doesn't need to be close to the creep wave to ensure that he finds some farms, gets a little levels, and is actually going to farm up this, and that's definitely the right choice, and glad to see him do that. And a lot of offlane players have started doing this, where they'll push out the lane, or if the lane gets pushed out against them, they just go farm this, and Darkseer now level 6. Probably going to be going the Mechanism. Could be going Blink, but typically we see the Mech as the first item. Slardar level 6 as well, so having a good time. Both offlaners having a pretty good time, but Raiden, the Wraith King, also level 6, and that's probably going to be Blade Mail. Yes, that's going to be a Blade Mail, so he will be going the Blade Mail Blink build, and there is a fair bit of AoE damage on the side of DD, and not to mention it will help him get through refraction charges if he ever is in a 1v1 against the TA. And now Bane, Neat in serious trouble. Nightmare on the TA, might be able to stop it, but Venge eats up the Nightmare to try to help, and now the haste rune active, and Neat going to just pop to this TA. Well played from Darnie, making sure that the Nightmare ends on her TA and is able to find a kill for it. So dewarding now completed, and 4Core is getting a lot out of these lanes so far. Finding kills, their mid laner very far ahead of the Storm Spirit, who's struggling pretty badly in this lane. And on the side of DD, there aren't any stacks for Forgotten to go after, and that's just going to make things difficult. Wraith King and Slardar kind of duking it out a little bit over at top lane, but she'll be fine. Oath Flaker needs to be a little bit careful. He mustn't play enough Lone Druid to get procs on heroes and just gets them on creeps, and he should be very careful. There's a Spirit Breaker in this game. This could be the death of Lone Druid. He's getting charged Ion Shell on top of him, and he is definitely going to go down here, so Oath Flaker getting a little greedy, and that's a huge kill. Just slowing down the momentum of this Lone Druid and just finding a kill and putting themselves on the board is huge for DD right now, and I think that's probably the kill they're going to be happiest with, but at the same time, just lots of stacks. Darnie just doing a fantastic job making sure that there's going to be a massive amount of gold on the map for her cores to come and claim, but DD, if they smoke up into the jungle and spot this out, then it could be a problem. And now Skaas looking to make a play at bot lane, wants to get this Slardar. Wraith King almost has his Blade Mail. In fact, I believe he's only about 600 gold away. Has not actually skilled up his ult. I find that very, very interesting. But perhaps he doesn't think he needs it, just wants to get some stats and some other... Maybe just got a point in attributes at some point. Actually, either he hasn't pointed it or he did get a point in attributes. So I think that's what happened. So he needs to be a little careful. Neat could be in trouble. Slardar going to the bot rune and bottom feeder right there. He has Nightmare and should be able to walk away from this, but actually now he's slowed up. The sprint is ending. We'll be able to get away from that and we'll survive, although Skaas may not be so lucky just charging in. Perhaps not the time to do it. Slardar looking for the crush, gonna find it on the Bane, and now it could turn around on them, but no, they're gonna back off as 4 heroes from DD rotate to contest this fight, and both teams just gonna flex each other, and unfortunately for DD, a lot of time wasted. Oath Flaker back to farming top, definitely gonna be going for the Radiance, or actually I think Midas. He will buy it in a few seconds if he's going the Midas, and bottom feeder topping the CS chart is level 10, and the Storm Spirit 2 levels behind, so looking pretty bad, and I think he really needs to just find some way to rally. I honestly think he either needs to stay in this lane and just like not miss any CS ever, or carry a TP, save a point in Vortex, and just rotate. Like find kills on like the Lone Druid, find them on the Slardar, maybe pick off a support with your team. Just go with the Spirit Breaker and make plays happen. So, but that's definitely something he needs to do. And Lone Druid did go for the Midas, kind of slow, but he is level 8 and maybe just wants to build a level advantage. And now with the Max Bear though, his push potential very, very high. Dribber doing a pretty good job on the Shaker, only level 5, but doesn't need much more than that, and if he can find a way to be involved in some more kills, we'll be able to get to be able to get a decently timed Blink Dagger. 2-point in trouble. If he gets rooted up, it could be bad, but no, just gonna back off. And now Skoss, Ion Shelled up, going for the lone Druid, and he's pretty low, so it's not looking good. Earthshaker's right there, gonna zone him out, and just been really good. Oh, but the vacuum back onto the other side of the fissure, really well played from 2-point, and lone Druid going down again, and I don't think he was able to use that Midas. Perhaps he was, and I missed it, but really well played from DD. The TA, though, still gonna prove to be a bit of a problem. Although, doing a very, very good job keeping this lone Druid in his place. And Darkseer is going the Mechanism, and in fact, I believe he has it now. So, they could look to group up. They've got the Wraith King ult. Blade Mail for him just about completed. And Ska getting killed off by the TA since she picked up a DD rune. So, very unfortunate timing for him. And TA just hits like a freight train, so... Well played from Bottom Feeder. He's having a very good game so far. His CS is great. Take a look at the net worth chart, and he's 2k ahead of anyone on the other enemy team. So this TA will have Desolator very, very soon. And I fear for the Storm Spirit, who's already very far behind. Doesn't even have his first Oblivion Staff yet. And looks like Raiden, his ult did just get popped, but they're not quite going to be able to get him. And now could be a kill for someone else. And the Bear gets Nightmared up, but Raiden... And now we're Storm Spirit. He is bot lane. So Slardar needs to be a bit careful. He is salved up. And actually it looks like Oathbreaker could get picked up again. And this is definitely the kind of kill Storm Spirit needs to find. And that's definitely another... This lone Druid having a very hard game. But thankfully the TA is doing extremely well. Has her Desolator and will probably easily find a return kill. Just doing massive amounts of damage. But Forgotten able to jump away to safety. And this TA very scary right now. And I think... 4 core should just look to Roshan. They have a Deso. They have, I mean, only the 1 point in the Wave of Terror, but it doesn't matter because they have the Deso and the Meld Strike. And Slardar, no blink. And Neat in serious trouble getting picked off 3 hits from Bottom Feeder. And now Raiden in trouble. No Reincarnate up, but a good charge on several heroes. But Bottom Feeder not afraid. Good Echo Slam to slow them down. And it's going to be some good picks. But Forgotten comes in to try to get some return kills. But Bottom Feeder tearing them apart. His damage is just... insane. Just awesome play and more than making up for Oathbreaker's lackluster start. I think they should take this and go do Roche. It'll just give them so much momentum. Net worth chart starting to dip down very quickly, and in fact they did smoke up, so they may be looking to do Roshan. And yep, it's pinged out now by the Slardar. So this Roshan going to die extremely quickly. They have Wave of Terror. They do have amp damage coming up soon, but not even going to need it. This Roche is very, very dead, and it's going to be an Aegis on the TA. Just an extremely fast Roshan from 4 cores, and so far, just in complete command of this game. So DD going to have to look to be very, very careful. TA will have a Blink Dagger very soon if she chooses to get it, and I definitely think that should be her next item so she can start these fights, and Slardar closing in on his own Blink Dagger as well. Now they're going to group up and take this T1, and with the Bear plus the Deso TA, this T1 will not stand for very long. And TA also the highest level hero in the game. A good wall, trying to zone them out, but not quite catching the TA. Is he going to try to vacuum? But no, they're just going to back off and hope to stop the push at that. Forgotten wants this Bear, but going to have to get out of here. If he gets rooted up, it could be bad, but no, just the fight's going to end right there. And Slardar only 200 gold away from his blink. TA could buy her blink if she wanted it. Forgotten is Ion Shelled up, and unfortunately the Ion Shell is the bulk of the damage here, and Forgotten gets blown up in seconds, and just within the duration of the fissure, and no response from DD, and now Neat also looks to be going down, but no, barely able to get away. And now, but Magic Missile on Skoss, Bottom Feeder, just doing tons of damage. No Wraith King ult yet. He does have his Blade Mail, so he's doing okay, but he could just get popped by this TA. Good Fiend's Grip. They're trying their best. Cancelled by Darnie, and now looks like Wraith King going to go down. In fact, actually TA gets killed, but an Ultra Kill still for Bottom Feeder, but well played from Raiden, making sure that with the Blade Mail pop, he gets revenge and a massive boost of gold for him. So the fight that could have gone definitely a lot worse for them. They lose 4 heroes, but still managed to come out on top in the gold thanks to that kill on the TA, and a valiant defense from them, showing that maybe they do have what it takes to come back into this. Slardar has Blink Dagger on the way and does not have it just yet. Darkseer really, really wants him. Vacuum back. Spirit Breaker closing in, but the sprint just too high, and now picking up the Blink Dagger, able to jump to safety. But Spirit Breaker going to cancel his charge, and looks like DD might actually have what it takes in them to deal with this massive monster of a TA, and hopefully they can rally together. DD definitely maintaining an important thing is they're not taking dumb fights. I think they're only defending when they have to. They didn't try to contest the T1 because they knew they would lose the fight, so it was good from them. And Guardian Greaves actually already finished up on this Darkseer, so a very quick Guardian Greaves. And besides this TA, there's not a lot of heroes up there on net worth for cores. Oh, then again, the Lone Druid's doing decent, but did he actually finish his Vlad's? Vlad's and Phase Boots finished on the Lone Druid. So it actually doesn't look like he's going to be going Radiance, and if he is, he'll be getting it later. And now Scott's gonna be popping, but actually sped up. But the Magic Missile to pop him, and actually Manzel could be in trouble. Scott's trying to charge to safety, should be okay, and Manzel just barely able to survive that. So good job. But TA actually finding him mid-charge and killing him off. Or was the charge? Actually, it looks like the charge was canceled by the Earthshaker. So good play from 4 cores, just able to find them and get another kill. And now 2 Point could be in trouble, but bottom feeder under tower gets Fiend's Gripped and getting a little ahead of herself. And although that lead, they do have a big lead, she can't afford to feed kills like this. Blink Dagger is finished, but TA going to be dying very, very fast here. A very unfortunate and awkward pause, but bottom feeder gonna pop to the Wraith King. Just showing up just in time to get that kill. He actually went to drums, going very cost efficient. And I think that's probably the right call. I actually think I still think he should have got the blink, but it is a very cost efficient build. He knows he's behind. He knows he needs items to help him catch up, and drums is a pretty decent item. And the active could be good to help his team chase down some stragglers and maybe find a couple kills there. So still not terribly tanky. Did get level 11 though. And we've seen TA does more than enough damage to him by herself to ensure that his damage items are a little bit less important, it feels like. Though he will need to build damage at some point. There is going to be a point where the Blade Mail just isn't enough, like especially once TA gets items, especially if she gets a BKB. It's just going to become impossible for that Blade Mail to be a reliable way to kill off this TA. Although, the Bane, who Neat has been playing really well to make sure that that happens, and they're trying to smoke up into the jungle. They might find someone. Earthshaker, the first hero they're going to spot, and Driver are going to tank this gank, but they shouldn't lose any more heroes than that. Forgotten, though, still very far behind, and that Storm Spirit not looking good on the net worth, and I think that's the biggest issue for DD. Their other heroes don't need a ton of items to fight right now. I mean, Wraith King is fine, Darkseer is Darkseer, and he has Guardian Greaves. Bane has boots and Fiend Spirit. That's good enough for him, and Spirit Breaker has an urn, so that's good, but this Storm Spirit just doesn't have enough, it feels like. And I think if he gets an Orchid, probably want to pop it on the Shaker or the Venge. But maybe on the TA. But still, things looking pretty bad. This Storm needs to find farm, and there's no stacks in the jungle for him to claim, whereas all the stacks in here have been claimed by 4 cores. And I didn't actually get to see which hero took them, but I believe it was the TA. She's going to have a BKB very, very soon. What is her GPM? 563, so TA farming like crazy this game. Does get spotted out by that ward, but I don't know if DD want to go for that. That is pretty greedy and aggressive to get in there. Bottom feeder has been playing a very good game, and now the Lone Druid's starting to catch up. Oathflaker, though, a very poor start. Now has the second highest net worth, so might be able to find his way into the game, although did get spotted out by a ward here. Then again, he sees them there with his own ward, and actually it's 4 cores that are looking to get aggressive. And 2 Point could be in trouble. Blink smash, and now rooted up instantly and just popped in seconds by 4 cores. Massive damage and all that minus armor, so 4 cores going to be claiming another tier 1 tower off of this to accelerate their gold lead a little bit more. Wraith King sitting close, getting close to a Blink Dagger if he chooses to go for that, and I feel like that will be his next item. Be able to get in there and get those fights. Vengeful Spirit going to go in Aether Lens, and that item is awesome on that hero. The range of swap already huge, gets even larger. Spirit Breaker ready to charge in, though Without Darkseer, this fight could prove very, very hard to take. Crush goes, but stunned up, and TA just popping Bane now with no Fiend's Grip. Things could be bad. The Roar to defend bottom feeder, and now Forgotten gonna pop. A good Echo Slam, and now Raiden going to be going down, but does have his ultimate, though there's no one to save him, and now bottom feeder just gonna blink forward and smash Skos, and Raiden going to be joining his team very soon. Underground, and a good enchant totem to slow them down, and Raiden going to pop here. And just another huge kill, but no, 2 Point might have TP'd into his own death, taking so much damage, but the Crush barely gonna miss. It's like they're not gonna keep chasing this. And he might be able to defend high ground with a wall, but I think DD got, I really don't think they should have tried to defend that. They knew they didn't have Darkseer, and Darkseer is huge for them in these fights, not just for his wall, but he has the Guardian Greaves, and they need that armor and they need that healing to survive this TA. So DD just making a really poor choice trying to take that fight 4v5, and we'll find out Roshan's respawn very, very soon. BKB now finished on bottom feeder, so thankfully Fiend's Grip does go through, but that only lasts for so long. That is only half of her first BKB, but if a well-positioned Bane could be the saving grace of DD. He needs to get Fiend's Grip on her either before she BKBs or right after she does her BKB so that they can lock her down. And Storm Spirit just needs to find some items, and he just isn't. Forgotten just painfully far behind, and just the Storm Spirit pick not really working out the way I think DD wanted it to. I feel like the Storm was meant to complement their draft, their aggressive draft, their draft that wants to go early, but wasn't able to do it. He just got beat by TA in lane. She's now level 16. She's 5 levels ahead of the Storm Spirit. And her net worth 7k ahead of him, and Raiden, no ult, out of position, gets swapped out and just popped in mere moments. And now Skos actually getting rooted up by the bear. He's trying to ult the lone druid, but now Force Staff and Crush, and now Skos going to go down to Raiden TPing back in and going to die. That was his buyback. He had no reincarnate. This looks like it could be game for DD, and whereas they might have had a chance before, things look very, very bad for them now. Forgotten, not nearly fed enough to be able to defend against this push. Still only sitting on top of his first Oblivion Staff. And now Manzel jumping in, and 2 Point dying in 2 hits, and Forgotten not faring that much better. Neat also in serious trouble. Fiend's Grip, but Crush, and then he's gone to all 3 cores of 4 cores, sitting there happily, the top 3 of the net worth, and now it's going to be 1 lane of Rax. The saving grace is they don't have this, so they can't go right here, but they'll probably at least take a T2 or maybe just run up top and try to get a lane of Rax there as well. Wraith King, whereas he was pretty close to a Blink Dagger before, just falling further and further behind, especially thanks to that buyback, and now looking very bad. And I actually do not think DD can come back into this, although they have Darkseer. And if Storm Spirit gets a little ahead, it is possible for them to come back. But it does not look good. The Storm Spirit doesn't have an Orchid, is only level 11. Your Wraith King hasn't gotten a new item for quite some time now, probably 6-7 minutes. Your Darkseer, same story, hasn't gotten a new item for about 8 minutes since his Guardian Greaves. And Neat, just this poor Bane, and now Roshan back up, but not for long. Going to be going the way of TA again. They're going to be grabbing it for her. She has her Chrysalis on the way. We'll probably pop the bottle and drop it for the Aegis, unless she just leaves the Aegis. I'm going to guess she drops the bottle for the Chrysalis. Yeah. So TA selling her bottle. Now, 4 cores finding something there, but a good wall to start this fight. Earthshaker looking for the slam, but gets pulled back. Or good slam comes out, but actually killing him off, and now TA is there with her BKB pop, doing massive damage, crushing every hero on the side of DD. Spiritbreaker goes down on the side, and now Neat to follow. Raiden in trouble, trying to man up against this TA, but just can't do it, and now, without wall, without Wraith King, and without your Bane, I don't think DD can defend this. I do believe this is GG. There is no tier 2 tower here. Aegis still up on the TA, and Four Cores just running away with this game. And now a crush. Is there going to be a root? But no, not even necessary. Bottom feeder jumping in and dominating these enemy heroes. And now Daedalus completed. But GG is called. The gold lead of Four Cores at about almost 30,000. So they were extremely far ahead. And now things... Dominant performance from Four Cores. It was a pleasure to watch. Their draft was very strong and they executed it very well. DD hung on for a while, but just felt like they let it slip. Maybe lost their cool and... just let the game go too far from them and didn't pressure this TA enough, and their Storm Spirit was not set up to succeed. TA did well in her lane and then had a bunch of stacks to fall back on in the jungle. Storm Spirit did poorly in his lane and didn't have stacks to fall back on in his jungle. And because of that, he was a non-factor this whole game. And it was really well played from 2 Point, and Raiden also did pretty well, but I think 2 Point would be the MVP of Four Cores. Or, sorry, of DD. Four Cores, their MVP is obviously bottom feeder. He dominated every stage of this game. But looking forward to this next coming game. And hopefully DD, they showed at the start of the game, they have it in them to put up a fight, but they let it go towards the end. And maybe in game 2 they'll rally together and tie up the series 1-1.